Boba Fett, the unaltered clone of Jango Fett, a human male Mandalorian bounty hunter. Boba sports customized Mandalorian armor and pilots the starship Slave One, both of which he inherited from his father, the Mandalorian whose genetic code spawned and birthed an army of clone troopers during the final years of the Galactic Republic. He was trained in combat and martial skills at a young age and became one of the most feared bounty hunters in the galaxy during the reign of the Empire. He has become a legend over the course of the Star Wars movies and amongst fans. Here are the top 10 crazy facts about Boba Fett. You're listening to Han Talks First. People love Boba Fett. He looks cool, doesn't say much, and has a natural stoic mystery about him that people gravitate towards. Boba Fett didn't actually do much in the original trilogy, but the fans still took to him regardless and elevated him to a status of badassery that few other fictional characters have achieved. So let's get started. Number 1. He was intended to be the main villain for Return of the Jedi. Back when George Lucas envisioned a three-trilogy Star Wars epic, the original plan was to have Boba Fett be the main antagonist of the third film, with Luke's second confrontation with Vader being a part of a follow-up trilogy. In retrospect, this makes a lot of sense. It explains why Boba takes the frozen Han Solo away at the end of Empire. It makes you wonder what this could have been like. According to Craig Miller, Lucasfilm's director of fan relations, George Lucas had a change of heart when it came to the issue and decided to cancel the plans for another trilogy. In an interview, Miller said, "Lucas took what was planned for the third trilogy, which was the confrontation between Luke and Darth Vader, and the battle with the Emperor, and that got squished down from 3 movies to 1 movie, and that's what became the plot of Return of the Jedi." It's a shame we never got to see Boba come to his own in Return of the Jedi, but with Disney making the new Book of Boba Fett series, it looks like we may get some of his lost story. Number 2. George Lucas didn't think fans were going to like him. It's hard to believe now, but at the time, George Lucas had no idea that fans would make such a big deal about Boba Fett. He expressed surprise during Return of the Jedi commentary track, admitting his regret that he didn't make a bigger deal out of Boba's death. He said, "I thought he'd be just another one of the minions." That's an interesting line from Lucas because it answers the age-old question of why such a cool character experienced such an ignominious death. To George, his death deserved little more screen time attention than any of the other thugs and aliens that Luke and his friends destroyed. But on that same commentary track, Lucas discussed how close he came to adding a special edition scene to Jedi that showed Boba Fett crawling out of the Sarlacc pit. Thanks to The Mandalorian, we now know this to be true. We don't know how or why, but we will soon find out. Number 3. The mysterious dent in his helmet was from Darth Vader. In the comics, Boba Fett and Darth Vader actually tried to kill each other when they first met. They fought over an alien queen that could predict the future. Boba was hired to retrieve her head in a box, while Vader wanted her as a tool for his plans to continue to control the galaxy. In their fight, Vader deflected blaster bolts, Fett was under the attempt to be mind-controlled through the Force, and in this heated battle, Vader managed to damage Boba's armor and dent his helmet. I mean, how strong is Vader? I mean, come on, he dented Beskar. It's unclear how the two went from nearly killing each other to being work buddies, but I'm sure they have an honor and respect for each other's talents in combat skills. Number 4. He only had 5 lines of dialogue in the original trilogy. Boba Fett is a chief example of exuding menace without the need to constantly talk or explain his motives to the audience. This is because Boba Fett managed to become a massively popular character, even though he only had 5 lines of dialogue in the whole original trilogy. In The Empire Strikes Back, Boba's entire spoken dialogue is, "As you wish," "He's no good to me dead," "What if he doesn't survive? He's worth a lot to me," and "Put Captain Solo in the cargo hold." He only has 1 single line in Return of the Jedi, which is, "What the?" Number 5. There have been many failed attempts before The Mandalorian to try and bring Boba Fett back to screen. Disney announced shortly after they purchased Star Wars that a new Boba Fett movie was in the works. He was to be the focus of one of the upcoming anthology films, but it was delayed due to issues with the director Josh Trank, and ultimately canceled. Before Disney bought Star Wars, George Lucas was creating a video game called 1313, in which Boba was to be the main character. It's likely this game would have been a big hit for Lucasfilm, so it's a mystery as to why it was canceled, and you can see a few leaks of this game online. Luckily, The Mandalorian brought him back in a very slow-paced way, but we finally got him, which finally leads up to us getting a long-awaited series in the Book of Boba Fett in all his glory. Number 6. Boba Fett was originally planned to be Darth Vader's brother. Similar to how Luke was revealed to be the son of Vader, Return of the Jedi was going to reveal Boba Fett to be Vader's brother, which would have further pruned the family tree of the saga. This idea was scrapped when it was determined to be too hokey by Lucas and those closest to him. So, thank goodness for that. Number 7. He was never intended to be a human man. We never got to see Boba Fett without his helmet on in the original trilogy, and this caused all kinds of speculation as to what his true appearance was. It's possible that Boba Fett could have looked like pretty much anybody, but before Tamara Morrison played his father in Attack of the Clones, and we saw him without his helmet as a kid, his original look, as taken from Legends novels, was a bronze-colored, skin, white-eyed, pointy-eared looking alien. Pretty crazy, huh? Number 8. Boba Fett sought revenge on Mace Windu for the death of his father. When Jango Fett tried to take down Mace Windu in Attack of the Clones, he failed, and Boba witnessed the beheading of his father at a very young age. It was originally planned for Boba Fett to be responsible for taking down Mace Windu in Revenge of the Sith, but George Lucas determined that Boba Fett would be too young at that point, so he was left out of the movie. In the Star Wars Clone Wars, he went on many adventures with the Trandoshan bounty hunter Bossk. One of young Fett's understandable goals was to avenge Jango by killing Mace Windu, and he was imprisoned after failing at this task. However, the resourceful young warrior was able to eventually escape and go back to learning the ways of bounty hunting. Number 9. The origin of his name, Boba Fett. George Lucas loved to play on words. Boba was another word for Bob, and Fett is actually a corruption of the Mandalorian word Vet, meaning farmer. Yeah, technically, in Earth translation, Boba Fett means Farmer Bob. But it was chosen to be this way because of Clan Fett, one of the oldest Mandalorian families. The lineage is responsible for people of all walks of life, from simple farmers to powerful war leaders. And finally, number 10, we're talking about Jeremy Bullock, the actor who played Boba Fett, and how he could barely see out of the helmet. According to Jeremy, the costume came with its own challenges. He said once, "You could see through, but breathing in it, it started to mist up. I remember counting steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, go to your right. I had to count the steps because it's not easy to walk about. And when you breathe in, it just mists up. And yet you have to try and look as cool as possible." I wanted to bring in a fact about Jeremy Bullock because, unfortunately, he did pass away last week, and I just wanted to remember him in a fun fact type of way. So that's it for today, guys. What was your favorite fact that you learned here today? Maybe you already knew everything. Maybe you learned everything new. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments down below. And please subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and we will see you very soon. May the Force be with you.